What is going on, brothers and sisters? Eric Rosen here, your internal strength coach, here to show you how to overcome your greatest challenges so you can shine your brightest light. It is Monday, November 12th, 2018. Thanks for being here. The message that I'm coming at you guys with today is about healing. Um, yeah, healing. So here's the real deal. When healing is occurring in terms of the stuff that happened to you in your life, the experiences that hurt you, that in order to survive actually and keep moving forward in life, you actually possibly numbed out to because you didn't have the emotional awareness at the time to deal with such traumas. That stuff wants to be healed, and it's going to keep crying for attention to be healed until you address it. And once you do decide to do that work, to do that shadow work, it's called shadow work for a reason. It does not feel good a lot of times, to be honest. In fact, it really doesn't feel, it feels good when you can acknowledge and be grateful for the milestones that you've hit, when you can see, how far you've come in your healing. That acknowledgement is important, but a lot of times, when you're moving through a passage of healing something, it just does not feel good. You can feel pretty victimized by it, to be honest. But I mean, it was garbage going down. It's going to feel like garbage going back up, is the thing. The stuff hurt going down, so even though you're not going to have to like necessarily go through it in the same time frame, the same duration. Maybe you had something happen to you. Maybe you had a breakup or something that made you feel worthless, for a few months or year or whatever. Going in and doing the shadow work on that, you're not going to go back into that for that long. It's just, the tough part is having the courage to move through the fear of facing that shadow side, to want to do the work. Um, God, especially, like our culture, like American culture, we just, we, we love our conveniences, we love our stimulus, we love things that make us feel good, that we don't have to invest a lot of effort into, just being real with you. So to actually want to go sit somewhere like in the meditation room and do EFT, do tapping, or just sit there and feel my fears or whatever it is, it's not sexy. It's just not. But the thing that I will say is that, you know, you can have discomfort no matter what. You're going to have discomfort. I've spoken about this before. You're not going to be able to avoid feeling the challenges and the discomforts that come with life when you're moving through growth stages. You can't always be, you know, hitting whatever source that gives you pleasure, that gives you that dopamine response. There's just going to be times where you're not feeling great, or worse, just kind of going through the motions of being like a zombie. The thing is that you go in, you do the shadow work, you clear up the stuff. Basically, you can just raise your life to a point where you can enjoy the highs more. So that's the thing. It's like, yeah, you got to plunge your hands into some shit, and feel some lows. But how beautiful is it that you can actually take the lead and take charge on going through those lows of doing that shadow work. I mean, you already went through the lows, right? You already had the experiences. So now here's an opportunity for you to be the conductor and go in and actually address that stuff and open yourself up to a new level of possibility. And what I mean by that is, you know, I truly believe that it's kind of like a wavelength a little bit, like the rise and fall. There's always going to be, you hit in the peaks and then the valleys. If you're willing to open yourself up fully to experience, like for example, experiencing shadow work, yes, you might have to go further down, but it's also going to open you up to move further up the curve later on. And I mean, really, just from, if you guys want to speak logically for a second, I mean, what is the real harm to doing shadow work? I mean, the thing is, it's like that pain, it's real, that mental, emotional pain, it's real. But when you really think about it on a fundamental level, it can't physically harm you. It feels like you want to die sometimes, it feels scary as shit, like you want to pull back and not deal with it. But, really in terms of what your ego is perceiving as this threat to your survival, it's not real. It's an illusion. That's why they say fear is an illusion. And your ego's saying, hey, listen, what are you doing this for? Like, hey, did I not get you to where you're at in your life? You're still alive. Don't do this stuff. You have to override it. You have to override the ego, and you have to move through the fear to do it. So, and what do you have to lose in terms of time? I mean, the real thing is that, as I just spoke about our culture in general, is what else are we doing that is adding that much value? I mean, sure, there's a lot of awesome people out there that are making, awesome things happen. But even to those people, I mean, you could show up better and stronger for, the people whose lives you're adding value to by doing your shadow work, because you can move down here, but then you can move up there for not only them, but obviously, especially yourself. And for the people that aren't, showing up and aren't really adding tremendous value, I mean, what the fuck, You want to go, binge watch a Netflix show and then feel worthless about it later that you stayed up until 3 a.m. when you could have, done shadow work for 30, 45 minutes and went to bed at, I don't know, 11:30. If you guys aren't happy, the thing is that you got to stop searching for shit outside of yourself. All those answers are there, and the thing is the answers are there, but the answers are underneath the shadow work. They're underneath of those seals. And this isn't like something that, I feel like I'm kind of speaking a little bit morbidly about this right now, but it doesn't have to be like that. It's just kind of like being a little bit real about it, just kind of being sandpaper about it a little bit. Like, there is an element to this of the spiritual component of, doing the shadow work so you can feel better about your life, so you can be happier. But there's also this masculine side of like what are you doing? Like, if you're not happy and you have discontent in your life, then why not seek to understand, what those blocks are? Do some tapping, do some EFT, drop $650 on a landmark forum like I just did, as I'll continue to do my shadow work. If you guys aren't sure what I'm talking about in terms of shadow work, just send me a message. I'll let you guys know what you can do, at least point you north in the right direction. I mean, I don't want you guys to get hung up on not knowing where to start. What I'm talking about here is just having the motivation to, want to do it in the first place. It's as simple as that. So, but that's the healing process. A lot of times it literally can feel like, especially when you're going through it, that you're actually backsliding, you're going backwards. But that's just how it feels. That's just, the perception of it. Truly, you know, and this is something I'm still learning. If you really want to make it easier, whatever tough shit you're going through or going through the shadow work, continue to be grateful, even when shit sucks. That sounds so counterintuitive to being grateful when you're being fed, spoonfuls of shit. But the reality of it is that, like I've spoken about before, that stuff is there for your betterment, for your growth. So why would you not be happy for something that's going to raise your vibration, that's going to make you more powerful, that's going to help you ascend? So anyways, that's what I got for you guys today. It's cold out, and I'll be honest, that's not it's not the reason that I'm avoiding filming outside by the lake. I've honestly just, the days just are busy, and trying to find the time to get out there has been a challenge lately. But I mean, I would not be surprised if you saw me out there, in a foot of snow, like doing it in December. I mean, I'm a Capricorn. I was born in the winter anyway, so it doesn't really bother me. But anyways, you guys can connect with me on social media, on YouTube, Facebook, Eric Rosen Coaches, and of course my website that is continuing to be cultivated, ericrosencoaches.com. So thanks for listening to this, guys, and you take care, and I will see you tomorrow.